so you want to do the front splits. I love this goal for you. Let's get started. I'm going to share with you my top 6 exercises to get you into the splits. Numero 1. You got to warm up the hamstrings. Don't go in there cold. Everyone loves a bit of foreplay. We've got to get the hammies warm. So what you're going to do, 2 exercises. We're going to start in a standing position, hands on the hips, core nice and tight, glutes squeeze. We're just going to raise up onto the toes. And we're going to do 30 reps. Now once you've done that, you're going to feel after 30 reps that it's all fired up in the calves, the hamstrings, that whole posterior chain. Then we're going to come straight down onto the floor and we're going to come into a glute bridge position. But instead of doing it for the glutes, we're going to take our feet a little bit further forward, lifting the toes, digging our heels into the floor, tucking the tailbone and lifting your hips off the mat, keeping your core tight as you do it and really engaging your glutes as you lift those hips. Again, you're going to do around 30 to 50 reps. Alrighty, once you've done that, numero 2, we're going to come into a chair-assisted cat-cow. Now, we're going to take our feet hip distance apart, hands onto the chair. Now, of course, you can do this on the ground. Wow. The gods above us are in approval of our chair-assisted cat-cow. Yeah, we're just going to duck. Okay. We can manage. Chair-assisted cat-cow. So hands are going to come down onto the chair. You're going to have your legs straight-ish, little micro bend in the knees, feet hip distance apart. And what I want you to do is start to arch your back, pull the shoulder blades down and back, and feel as though you're getting that stretch in your hamstrings. Open up your butt. That's what we want to aim for. We want to feel like we're kind of like opening up. And then from there, we're going to round through the spine. And then we're going to open, and then we're going to round. And we want to start to feel all of that tissue through the back of the legs, start to open up. And we're just kind of, again, this is all about that foreplay, getting ready to get into the splits. Now, the real splits training starts at number 3. We're going to come into a lunge position. Now, for this lunge position, I want you to be quite long. So go ahead and lift that back knee, take it further back behind you, so that you can come into a really, really deep position for the front of your hip. This is not so much, when people come into lunges, they often think that it's about what they feel in the front leg, but when we're coming into a lunge in preparation for the splits or to open up for front splits, what we're actually trying to do is stretch through the front of the hip. And this is so neglected when you come into the splits because you can feel so much sensation in your hamstring. Often you're like, is it really about this guy? Yes, it is. Yes, it is about this guy as much as it is about this guy. And so what we're trying to do is open through the front of the hip so that we can keep our hips square, and this is a big part of the front split position. Okay, so we're going to come into that position and we're going to hold, breathe. We want to do about a minute on each side. After we've done that, we're going to move into, I'm getting full approval from the heavens above for this sequence. So in case you were kind of like, I don't know, is this really going to work? Yes, it is going to work. The divinity is shining upon me and this sequence. So next part of the lunge, we're going to grab that back leg. And this is to increase the stretch on your quadricep. So as you start to sink deeper into position, you're going to tip and twist, reaching around, taking your opposite hand to grab the back foot. Now, the key thing here that I want you to make sure of is that you're not allowing your femur to jam up into your hip. And the way that we avoid that is that we want to make sure that we're not on top of the kneecap, but we're slightly tipping forward. And through that, lengthening forward where I'm more so on the front of my knee, I'm getting this lengthening. It's almost like I want to feel like my femur is sort of gently lengthening away or out of the hip. I want to feel like we're getting a stretch of all of those muscles through the quadriceps. Okay, quadriceps here. Oh, we also want to do that back leg grab variation for about 30 seconds on each side. Okay, so you've held your lunge for a minute and you go 30 seconds on the other side. Okay, exercise number 4, Hanumanasana, or actually Ardha Hanumanasana. Hanumanasana is the yoga word for the splits pose. It's actually not the Sanskrit word for splits. It actually means monkey. It's in reference to the god Hanuman. So what we want to make sure of when we take this variation, Ardha Hanuman or half splits pose, is that we play around with the angles of our front foot. So from that lunge position, we're then going to shift our hips back and straighten out through the front leg. Now as I do that, I'm then going to try to play with angles of my front toes or foot. And what I'm really doing is internally rotating my femur, externally rotating it, and finding the different angles along the hamstring muscle or group to feel which area is tightest for me. When I find that, I'm then gonna fold forward over that front leg and relax and breathe. Now when we hold this, we're gonna hold for a minute, supporting ourselves with our hands, and then we're going to take the hands off and push down into that front leg. Now you may need to keep one hand down or the fingertips down slightly just to maintain some kind of activation or stability, but what we're trying to do is activate through that tissue. So we want to contract it at its lengthened position. So we've got 1 minute there, and then we've got 10 seconds contracting here. Really trying to hold, and then after you've done the 10 seconds contracting, you're then going to fold forward again and hold for another 30 seconds. You'll repeat that on both sides. Number 5. So after Ardha Hanuman, we're going to move back into our long kneeling lunge, but this time I'm going to move my front ankle in a little bit more. I'm going to let my front knee come way over my toes. So we're getting a little bit of ankle mobility here, but that's not the aim of this. The aim of this is to really sink into and feel a stretch for the anterior side, again, hitting the front of that back leg in the splits. Now, what we want to do there is start to reach our arm, the same arm as the leg that's going back, up towards the ceiling, and get a stretch all down through your oblique, all through the front of the body, your abs. Like, you will find areas that you are tight here that you're like, what? This is impacting the splits? Yes, it is impacting your front splits. Okay, so we want to sort that baby out. You're going to hold this position for 30 seconds. Some people like to work in time, but I say that time doesn't really denote the quality of your mental, emotional, and kind of like nervous system state. So I could grit through 30 seconds and be like, Shall I say that again? And like really aggressively be like struggling to get through this stretch. Or I could take a more yogic approach, right? And that's the idea of like why we do so much breath work in yoga, to facilitate that flexibility. It's not the only reason, but it's a main reason, because it helps us to actually take control of the nervous system, remind the nervous system that we're in a calm state. Therefore, the nervous system can go, oh, cool, we can chill. We don't need to grip ourselves through this horrible, horrible front split sequence. We can relax ourselves, and that allows the tissue to relax. Okay, so you need to be in a relaxed state. So when I've been telling you these times, I need you guys to be like relaxing as well, using deep breaths in, full breaths out. So 30 seconds, yes, but more importantly, long inhalation and an even longer exhalation. And last but not least, number 6. We got there. We want to work on the cheating splits. So the reason I really encourage you do not skip this one is because this is as close as you're going to get, at least initially, before we start to take on the actual splits pose. So with this variation, we're going to have our front leg extended forward. We're going to really work to square off our pelvis, and our back leg is going to be internally rotated. Now, for some of you with really uncomfortable hips or really poor internal rotation, that might be the thing that's actually stopping your splits position as well. So this is helping us to get better internal rotation of that femur that's going to be back behind you in the front split. So this is really important. We're going to square off the hips and just sit here with our body straight. Now, as you get better in this position, as things start to relax, you're then going to start to lean forward. And when I lean forward, I make sure I'm not just leaning by rounding my spine. I'm actually hinging at the hips, trying to keep a long spine. So we really start to pull on that hamstring, keeping the chest lifted here, and just hold. I also like to play with other angles. So what we're also going to start to do is take the opposite shoulder towards the front knee. So we're sort of twisting around and reaching to the outside of the foot. Again, the whole time I want you to just think about keeping length in your spine as you start to lean into this one. And then from there, deep breath in. After about a minute, we're then going to fold forward and let ourselves round into this position. From there, you can start to scoot that back leg a little bit further back, until you start to make your way closer and closer into a full splits position. Those are your 6 exercises that you're going to practice. Don't practice these more than twice a week. So work on your front splits as you would work on any other kind of like gym program where you're not training it necessarily every day. Like you're not, well, some people would squat every day. Okay, in this case, we're only gonna do this twice a week, but we are not gonna negotiate on doing it twice a week. Now, once you finish those 6 exercises, you're gonna stand up, you're gonna walk around, and then you're going to attempt the splits. So I'm just saying 10 seconds, 20 seconds, just kind of get up, walk around, shake out your legs a little bit, and then go ahead and move into the splits. And my favorite way to get into the splits is to come into it from that Ardha Hanuman position. So we're coming into the half split, we're gonna start to move the front leg further forward, move the back leg further back, front leg further forward, back leg further back. And we're just gonna hold a passive stretch here, 1 minute, breathing, don't go too deep too quickly. Then we're gonna work on our PNF, our proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, where we're going to start to contract that front leg. And we're going to contract it by pushing our heel into the floor, back knee into the floor, holding here 10 seconds, and then exhale, relax. See if you can go a little deeper into the splits, and then we're going to come out of it. You're going to get up, you're going to walk around, maybe take some squats, and that is your splits practice. Now, I know that that is going to get you into the front splits. I cannot tell you how long it's going to take because that is dependent upon several factors. If you would like that sequence in real time, it is, and actually it's a longer sequence, so there's many more exercises around it. For those of you that want to take this front splits program a little bit more seriously, I do have a front splits and a side splits sequence in real time, fully guided in my Virtue Method 2.0 program, which you can see right here. In month 1, we focus on the front splits. Month 2, we focus on the side splits. In month 3, we focus on a restorative yoga practice because it's alongside a fitness program as well. So the fitness program ramps up in that final month where we do a lot more strength work. So we don't so much focus on front or side splits, and we start to actually focus on meditation, restoration to support our fitness gains. But in those first 2 months, when we're working on a different phase in the fitness program, we focus more on flexibility work, and it's really fun, and I know you guys are gonna love it, so check it out here and I'll link it below. All right, let me know any questions you guys have, and if you want me to break down more things like this, should I do a side splits one too? I would love that. Let me know. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, support the channel, subscribe, do all the things that you're meant to do on YouTube, and I will see you guys for another video soon. Bye.